food, wine. There's not much that goes wrong with that, as my belly can attest to.
All that and more on this episode of My Disney Addiction Podcast.
Oh, yeah. I like that. That was good. That was on time. We were like sync.
Dude, hey, but I don't know about at the end of the episode, because we might swill this a little too much, get a little loopy.
Yeah, but you barely have like anything in there though.
I'm a lightweight, bro. I'm a lightweight.
So like I have a blended whiskey here. I got in my decanter I have some Evan Williams, and then I had a Jameson Black Label that I didn't have much left in. So I poured it into the decanter. So this has been sitting together, blended for about 2.5 weeks. I think it will taste better the longer, but it's got a good like oak taste, kind of like a vanilla wafer caramel taste to it after you let it sit on the tongue, with a little hint of cherries in there. It's really good.
You blow my mind, man. You're like a sommelier. I don't know what whiskey connoisseurs are called, but that was very impressive. I liked all your vocabulary. It's very rich.
Yeah, sommeliers.
So this is a Moscato. I think it's a Moscato d'Asti. Very, very good. I'm more of the fruitier drinker out of the bunch, but it's definitely very good. It's definitely very good. I'm not complaining.
I am not. We'll talk about this. Calm down, Greg. Calm down. So, Greg, what are we wearing today? What shirt do we got on?
So I'm wearing the band that's featured in my favorite Disney ride, Rock and Roller Coaster. So Aerosmith.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, Toys in the Attic Tour, 1975.
I like that.
How about you?
Just rocking the good old Dunder Mifflin Paper Company. Michael Scott, Dwight Schrute, Jim Halpert, Pam, Angela, all that.
Don't forget Andy.
Andy, Big Tuna.
Big Tuna.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Kevin, Phyllis, all of them.
Who's the? Oh shoot, I'm blanking on his name.
Stanley.
There it is.
Stanley, Creed.
Creed.
Ryan.
Angela's cat.
Yeah. All of them. They're good times. All right, you guys. We are back at it. Sorry about last week not being able to come out with a video. It's been super crazy hectic for my family. Non-stop. Work's been crazy. Other personal stuff's going on. That's super crazy as well for me. So it's been a long week for a while for us. We started putting our youngest one through sleep training, so we're trying to work on that. So she doesn't sleep through the night, so sometimes me or my wife, depending on whose turn it is, we're up at 4 a.m. and she doesn't go back to bed until 5:30.
Wow.
So, but recently, in the past couple of days, she's been getting back to bed in about half an hour. So soon we're hoping for that to start kicking into just sleeping through the night. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, this is your second one that you're going through. Was Maddie similar?
Oh, Maddie was
easy. The sleep training. Oh, she
yeah.
was.
She was it took 2 days to sleep train her, and she would sleep through the night.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was not bad.
Good parents over there. I know. I don't even know what that entails, so I'm deferring to you. I give you props. Sometimes I need to put myself through sleep training. I wake up in the night. I'm like, why am I awake? I usually wake up 5 times a night just to change positions. I'm really weird because when I fall asleep, it's like sleep paralysis. I do not move unless I have a pressure sore or I'm sleeping in a weird position. My body wakes me up. It's like, okay, Greg, move. Then I change positions and then I fall back asleep and then I'm completely paralyzed.
Yeah, we'll get off that tangent of sleep and all that. So, Greg, what are we talking about today? What are we doing here, eh?
What are we talking about? We're talking about wine, some of the lovely drink. We're also talking about food and a festival that Disney World puts on for said wine and said food.
Food and Wine Festival, people. Come on now.
Hey, yes, that's right. We're talking about my favorite festival in all of Walt Disney World. I love it. It's great. It happens during my favorite time to travel to Disney World. It features all the foods, all the drinks. I'm a foodie. I don't like to drink as much, but hey, when in Disney. But yeah, it's just great all around. Love the vibe. And Epcot's one of my favorite parks. And of course, Epcot's World Showcase hosts the Food and Wine Festival. We'll definitely get more into it as this episode goes on further. But yeah, really excited to talk about the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as my belly can attest to, I like me some food, that's for sure. So Greg, let's talk about this. What is Food and Wine Festival specifically? What do they do? What's it all about?
Well, great question. So it happens typically in the fall.
Not anymore. Now it starts in like August and goes through like October.
I know it's weird right now with everything going on with the virus, but yeah, typically in the fall, runs probably like September to November, and it's only in Disney's Epcot park, more specifically in the World Showcase, but they've since expanded to Future World. And that's where they set up different kiosks of different countries, and you get to sample some of their exotic and very delicious cuisine, as well as their drinks. And as a self-proclaimed foodie, that's like my favorite part of going down there in the fall, because I get to experience the Food and Wine Festival. And it's gotten more and more popular over the years, as I'm sure everybody knows. You know, Disney's just booming now. In terms of popularity, but they've given you these passports where you can actually open up and you can say, oh, you know, in Disney's World Showcase there are 11 countries, and then you can see each country and what they're offering in terms of food and drink and desserts, and then you can you also get like some stickers. So if you go there and order a certain food, you take the sticker, you put it on the passport. It's a ton of fun, and the food is great. I mean, albeit pricey, but again, it's the Disney premium. So what do you expect?
You're saying there's only 11 countries at Food and Wine Festival?
No. Like the World Showcase is 11, but I'm saying that they've expanded into, Future World with other countries. Like, for instance, there isn't a Greece pavilion. They have a Greece kiosk that serves some delicious sphonicle pita and some gyros, all that jazz. They have an Australia kiosk. They have New Zealand. They have Hawaii. It is amazing.
They have so many different countries there.
Dude, oh my gosh, it is great. And every year they keep adding on, and then there's some, guest favorites that stick around. So it's an always revolving cast of different countries that they decide to bring into Food and Wine. Yeah, it's just phenomenal, because literally I plan out every day that I'm there, like what I'm gonna eat. I'm like, should I fast in the morning and afternoons? When I get to Epcot at night, like I can just go ham and go to as many kiosks as possible. I mean, when you go to the kiosks and you order the food, it's not a big serving. It's just more of like a sampling, but it can definitely tide you over.
Yeah. So, I mean, for those of you, like Greg was saying, like I think last time I was there, I think there were like 100 things there. Maybe not 100. There was like a lot. There was a lot of kiosks there.
Yeah.
And there's a kiosk like every 5 feet. Like there's so many kiosks. One of the fun things to note, if you or your family have the Disney dining plan, you guys can use snack credits at the kiosks for Food and Wine. So me and my family, when we went down there the past couple times, we would save our snack credits, or what we would get is we would get 1 sit down, 1 counter service, and 2 snack credits. So what we would do is if we weren't really hungry that day, we'd change the counter service into an additional snack credit.
Okay.
So we would use that. I mean, that's the thing. And even some of these portions, they're not tiny. They're not like this small. Like sometimes it's like you can have a pretty good amount, and
it's substantial. Yeah.
And so it's very good. And so it's like, I just recommend that if you guys, whether you guys purchase or whether you guys somehow get the free Disney dining plan, and you're there during Food and Wine, remember that you can use the snacks, at least it was when I was there. I don't know what obviously this year they're not having it because of COVID and health reasons.
Right.
It's not going to happen. But if they bring it back, which I would be surprised if they didn't, because that's one of the most popular festivals that Disney puts on.
They will. Yeah.
But if you have the Disney dining plan, think about that. Don't forget that. You can go to all the other general things that Disney puts on, or you can use them at the fun kiosks for food and wine. And that's not just the food. You can use them on drinks too.
Hey, that's a Disney pro tip from your ghost host. You heard it here, folks.
That's right. So there's a whole bunch of foods for me that are really good. I love New Zealand's food. I love Jamaican food.
I was about to ask you. Yeah, okay. Jamaican food. That's great.
Hawaiian food. As you can tell, I'm very much of the I like the sea food kind of thing.
Very tropical. Oh, speaking of Hawaii, they make some delicious Kahlua pork sliders there.
Yes,
it's great.
They do.
So good with the sauce. And every time I pass that kiosk, I look at their menu and I always see some type of deconstructed spam or gourmet spam, and I'm like, I don't know if I should have that. It looks good, but I've heard bad things about spam. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you tried it?
No.
No, don't want it. No, not worth the calories.
So there was one, I forgot which country it was. I don't know what it was, but it was a very refreshing dish. It was like little tiny chopped up bits of crab with avocado and a little bit of lobster with some cilantro and lime on it. And it was in a little cup. It was just, it was a refreshing little snack. It was so good.
Yeah, totally intrigued.
It was, but it was so good.
Yeah, that sounds so great.
It had I think diced onion, cilantro, some lime juice, chopped up lobster tail and chopped up crab with, I think it was a slight, very, very slight. I think it was I forgot what kind of mayo relish it was.
Okay.
Or something, but it was super refreshing dish. It was really, really good.
Do you remember where that kiosk was, in relation to the Epcot map?
I think it was over by Test Track.
Oh, okay. Sure. So I remember over there, again, that's like the Caribbean spot.
Yeah.
So they have different Caribbean foods, Jamaica, the Virgin Islands. Yeah. So I think I want to say maybe it's in that area, but that does sound really, really good.
So Greg, what are some countries that you really like the food, thought was great?
Yeah. So one of my favorites, outside of the Food and Wine Festival, but definitely with this festival, is the Japan Pavilion. Because when they participate, they have one of my favorite things to get there. It's called a chicken teriyaki bun. So basically what they do, it's think of a dumpling or something. So they basically cook and marinate this chicken in this deliciously sweet teriyaki sauce, and they put a clump of that marinated meat inside a bun, and they scoop it up so it looks like a closed bowl basically. And so when you bite into it, it releases this chicken and this sauce. It's so good. And the bun it's really, really it's not crispy. It's I don't want to say undercooked, but it definitely has that doughy feel. But again, it's a very like sweet roll, and it just pairs.
So it's
with
kind of like a
so
cinnamon
nicely.
roll where it's cooked, but it's a little bit more like spongy.
Yeah.
Like it's pliable.
It's spongy, exactly. Yeah, spongy. So I mean, I easily can get like 4 or 5 of those. Like I can't stop eating those. So definitely Japan. I do like New Zealand a lot. I love Hawaii. What other ones? Like Germany. You know, if you want more of a savory kind of taste, definitely go there. I know around the UK and Canada, they have their select kiosks, and they have like fisherman's pie or like
Yeah.
fisherman's shepherd pie, where you get like bits of lobster, basically just like in a shepherd's pie with, you know, like peas, corn, carrots. It's really savory, like almost mushroomy lobster sauce. So that's very good. I know that they also give you samples of like the Le Cellier steak by Canada. And I haven't tried that yet, just because I'm like, I don't want my first experience to try a Le Cellier steak in a kiosk that's almost like quick service, you know, like I'd want it to actually be prepared. I want to be inside the restaurant. I'm like, I don't know when I want to be able to do that because my family doesn't like sit down restaurants. So it's going to be one of those things in the future where I'll go like with you or with my girlfriend. So, so definitely that. I mean, just basically whatever I feel like, because what I do is I try to hit as many kiosks as possible, and there isn't a kiosk that I haven't loved yet. Like all of them are great.
Yeah.
And even again, when you verge into Future World, like with Test Track or by Journey into Imagination and like the land areas, you get they're not necessarily, every kiosk isn't specifically catered to a country. Like you get into like Active Bite, or you get like seafood bites, you know, like, so it's, or like you could do like cheese fusion, and like this one kiosk is all about like different ways that you can, you know, mold cheese or to put cheese into, you know, some sampling. There's this one that I love. It's called Active Bites or Active Eats, and they have this this delicious like granola bar. It's with raisins, chocolate chips. It's with some type of like honey coated nuts. It has coconut shreds on it and dried apricots. It's so good. I even took a picture of it, like, you know, like the cross section of it. I'll definitely try to find it on my phone. But yeah, like that one was a staple. Like I would get that like every day. It was so good. I loved it. So I'm definitely more of the food chooser when it comes to food and wine. Every so often I do get a drink. One of my favorite was the Scottish Thistle citrus drink. And that was, you know, sort of like in the UK area.
Sounds like a fruity, frothy thing.
It's definitely fruity, but it also has like a very tart or almost like a plant bite to it. So it was a very good combination. So that would probably be the drink that stands out to me the most. I did try cold sake when I was in Japan. I mean, I never tried it before, but it honestly tasted like medicine to me, especially with it being cold. I've heard that sometimes, you know, you serve it warm. And one time when I went out to get sushi, this is back in Wisconsin, I tried warm sake. I liked that better, but I was like, man,
That's interesting because when I told them when we went there and we tried the sake, because they had a sake tasting, because then that's the thing, like we went to Japan, we had a sake tasting, and I told them like, yeah, the one time we had sake, it was warm and it didn't taste good. And the girl there was like, she's like, yeah, I don't understand why you guys warm up the sake. You're supposed to drink it cold. So when we had some of the different sakes and they were cold, I'm like, wow, this is actually really good. I could do this. And
it tastes like medicine to me when it's cold. I don't like it.
Well, and it's distilled from rice, so it's and I don't know, it was a lot better cold than I did not like sake warm.
Okay.
So I mean,
that's interesting.
That brings into a good discussion. So here's one of the things though that's kind of a pain, and I wish Disney would check themselves on this, is that
check it.
You know you're gonna have this huge event that's gonna have a lot of food, a lot of drinks, and it's like most people that have annual passes or live in that area, they don't go to Food and Wine during the weekend because that's when all the young people just go and they just get smashed.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on. Like honestly, for me, it's like I get it. Disney's gonna do it, so like not within reason. They're gonna have it on weekends because they know they can get a ton of money from it. But still, it's one of those things. It's like if you just kept it to Monday to Friday, you'd have Friday night with people that are crazy. But other than that, it's not that bad. But if you have Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday, and you have that for how many months?
Yeah, like two and a half.
Yeah, so that's something that it irks me. that I don't like I wouldn't take my kids on a Saturday to Food and Wine. Like I would take them during the week, but I don't know if I would do that if I did take them during the day, I could do that, but I'd be out of there by like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Right.
On a Saturday.
I mean, I would be okay with it again if like Disney maybe policed it better or checked themselves, especially maybe increasing park security or just cast members who are more on the watch for those who do drink a little too much or are a little rowdy or a little promiscuous, because they're inebriated, because that definitely doesn't sort of fall into the whole realm of like, oh, we're on like this magical Disney vacation, we're having a fun time, we don't have to worry about obnoxious people,
or set up a system where essentially like with the magic bands or something, set up a system where it's like you can track how many drinks they buy. Like if somebody buys a drink, they have to scan their magic band, and then after 5 drinks, they're done. It's like, nope, exactly. We can't sell you anymore.
Can't serve you. Yeah, or even get like a magic band where it tells like your blood alcohol levels. Like, okay, 0.8, you're done.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that because that's pretty low for some people.
No,
but like,
it was more of a joke.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where it's like if you had a system where it's like your wristband, when you order stuff, it tracks what you order. So if you get 5 drinks after that, like the people who are scanning, they can see that you've had 5 drinks and where they came from and when you got them.
Hey,
they'd be like, nope, you're done.
I like that a lot.
Because if you had 5 drinks and and that was like from like 9 a.m. and it's now 5 p.m., it's like, okay, that's one thing. But it's like, you've had 5 drinks and it's been 5 hours. We're not giving you any more for a while.
Right, yeah, it's all about like the time or the consistency.
Because that's the thing, it's like,
I like it.
I'm not saying that Disney has to be prudish, but it's like you have guests that are adults,
children,
elderly, kids, you have cast members, you have the people that are drinking themselves. I'm like, you're taking on a huge liability if you're not controlling, because that's the thing. It's like, and here's the thing, people are like, oh, you can't control what I'm drinking. It's like, well, they're a privately owned company, you're on their property, they're providing you alcohol that they bought, they can do whatever they want. So they can be a little bit more stringent with that. And that's one thing that out of everything with Food and Wine, that is the biggest complaint people have with Food and Wine is on the weekends.
Across the board.
Crazy.
Yep, I know. Yeah, because we definitely try to stay away from that as well. Or at least just don't go as late because, the later you get, more people hang around, get more drinks in them. But, I mean, going on to more of like a fun side of Food and Wine, there's a lot more to do than just eat and drink around the world. Like for instance, the American Pavilion, like that amphitheater, they put on concert series called Eat to the Beat. And so they bring in some great acts. Usually when we go, we always fall within the time that Billy Ocean comes to perform. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you guys know who Billy Ocean is, but he's a phenomenal singer from the UK. He sings, Caribbean Queen, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car, When the Going Gets Tough, It's Tough to Get Going. Like, this guy has like monster hit after monster hit. I think he's up into his 60s or 70s right now. His voice is still just as clear as the day that he started recording.
Yep.
But he has some like sick white dreadlocks. Like, he's rocking it. He's having a good time. He has a phenomenal band, and it's free for like the guests in the park. He usually stays like 3 to 4 nights, like most acts do when they do their rotation. But that's also a really great benefit of Food and Wine. Like, you get to see some of these like awesome acts. Like, I know Hanson has been down there, 38 Special.
They go down there every single year. I think Hanson's
They do, yeah. And so like you have some perennials. I also love Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits. I don't know if you guys know that band. Funny enough, there was this one point in time, like in the early 60s, where the Herman's Hermits were actually more popular than the Beatles in England. Like, imagine that. It's crazy. But
so
that's a cool... Hey, but still, they were, which is something to brag about if I were them. But yeah, that's a really cool sideshow that you can take part in as you're walking around, checking out all the food and drink. And also, like, just the decor that they put into the park. Right? Like, it's crazy. Like, I love, like, when you walk through, like, the front gates of Future World, they have, like, these huge, garden areas, and they put in, like, characters and, like, chef hats and, like, brewing up stuff. Like, ton of fun. they have like special limited edition merchandise. Because I'm a pin collector, so I love looking at those limited edition pins to see if I want to add them to my collection. So many other things. So it's not just food and wine. There's so many other things that it has since expanded since this, festival has become so popular.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that, there's a lot of things there that entertainment-wise, just once again on the safety side, just something you guys got to remember too is with all the food and drinks and things, there's a lot more people condensed in that area. So one thing always to remember is you guys need to and this is part of what I like doing. I like giving recommendations for people who are going to go and think about these things.
Yeah.
You guys want to set aside time to sit down, relax, drink water.
Please drink, yeah. Stay hydrated.
Because, I mean, Disney's crowded as is normally, but throwing food and wine with people drinking a lot, eating a lot, I mean, and people are crammed during food and wine. It's very, very hot. So make sure you guys stay on the water and get your guys some rest time. It's important because you just don't want to start getting lightheaded, overheated, getting sick. That's just not how you want to spend your time at Epcot during food and wine. It's not a good time.
Very true. You're so right.
But with food and wine, I think one of the fun things is to drink some of the different types of alcohol that they do have. So like, I like trying some of the different wines or different beers from the countries. Now, I'm pretty specific on how I do that because I'm very much like what I'm drinking and what I'm eating kind of has to fit the palate, right? So if I had something... So I don't normally buy a food and a drink every single time. It's like, oh, I'll buy this snack. I'll buy this snack. Ooh, I'll buy this snack because normally I have water with me. It's like, oh, you know what? That one type of beer sounds really, really good, actually. I'm going to try that. But if I just had a certain type of dish just like right beforehand, it's like I'll think about it, I'm like, oh, that doesn't actually sound too good on my palate right now. But then it's like, oh, actually a nice white wine sounds really good. So like, sometimes like if I know I'm gonna get like some snacks, so like Le Cellier had some steak options at their booth, so I got their like filet mignon that they're famous for.
Was it good? Like their little sample out there?
Oh yeah, it was a good portion. It was probably easily like a quarter of a filet mignon.
Wow.
And it was cooked great, perfect. That's what made us want to go to Le Cellier the following year. Which
okay.
It was so good. And I did that, and I got a little red wine that they have at the restaurant there with it to pair, and I was like, this is great. This is really, really good. And then when I was in Germany, I got some German food. I got to have myself a beer, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I think there's just a lot of different things that you might want to think about, like, and try to experiment. Like, hey, maybe I don't have Jamaican food that often. Give it a shot. Or it's like, I've never had a type of wine from, I'm trying to think of a country from, I don't know, some country you don't normally think of, but try
South Africa.
South Africa. Like, just try it. There's all the opportunities because Disney has brought together all these countries and all their cuisine in one little location for you. So, I mean, if you're going to be down there during food and wine, give it a shot. It's well worth it.
Exactly. And the cool thing is, Disney has two other like huge festivals throughout the year. Festival of the Arts, which is like in January to February, maybe even into March. And then you have Flower and Garden, which is like March to May. And they also have...
I thought it was like March. I thought it was like March to June.
Oh, it could be, yeah. March to June. I don't know the exact bookends, but they also have like different food and drink kiosks for those festivals too. So it's not just in food and wine. Like they bring out some really, really delicious and like really tasty food and drink in the other festivals too. So don't be surprised if you see that.
Not as much.
True, not as much, but I think it's still worth a mention because like they still bring out some really and usually more like sweeter things. Like I remember when I went to Festival of the Arts, they had this like shimmering strawberry ice cream. It was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it.
Sounds too sweet for me, man.
Oh, I mean, safe to say I did have a sugar rush, but then again, I don't know if that was my adrenaline from being in Disney, but yeah. I think that definitely helped.
Well, and the other thing too is like this is a great opportunity for you guys to try teaching your kids some other foods from across the world.
Right, exactly.
So like with my kid, so we only had Madeline at the time when we went down there. So we've done Food and Wine, I think done it through 2 or 3 times. And when Madeline was there with us, she was about a year and a half, maybe. Yeah, about a year and a half, and maybe a year and 6 months. And so when we were eating some food, you know, it was like, Mommy and Dad are getting this. Do you want to try a bite? And she was like, oh, I like that. I don't like that. And so it's a good way to get your kids into trying different things, which I think is actually very important, and not to teach your kids to be picky eaters.
It is. And like, even with them being in Disney, I think they might be more excited to do it because like, oh, it's Disney, you know, like Disney's making your food for you, you know? So that's, again, I think an added side note.
So there's more we could talk about eventually. So one of the things we want to do is we want to do some walkthroughs of things, and eventually we would like to do like a walkthrough of Food and Wine, a walkthrough of all the parks, all the resorts, all the cruises, like do walkthroughs, like all that stuff, like all the shows, like react to them. We want to do reaction videos to things too, because I think that'd be very fun. So this is Food and Wine would be something I would like to react and be like, yeah, that was really good, and ooh, that's really cool. So
Me too.
we will do that down the road. It just so happens when we do them, we want to be together when we do them. It's just functionally with Zoom, it's a little bit hard.
It is.
But Greg, did you have anything else that you wanted to add about Food and Wine?
No, I mean, you guys just have to try it out. Definitely go for it for yourself. And those of you who have already experienced it, please let us know in the comments below, or message us over social media. We'd love to talk about that. I mean, when you pair like the love of Disney and the love of food, because Chris and I are both foodies, like we can talk for hours on that. So please, if you feel comfortable, reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to, talk with you and just shoot the breeze, because we love that stuff. So don't forget to like us on all our social media accounts: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then whichever podcast service that you listen to us on. So we really appreciate you guys taking the time to listen to us and sharing our passion. We want to hear yours. So always feel welcome in this community.
Excellent. All right, you guys, that is a wrap. That is it for us today. I do want to let you know that I am working on a video about my Victoria and Albert's trip
I'm excited.
that me and Stephanie went on, and I'm working on that. I pretty much have it done. I already put it to my YouTube account, and I just wanted to listen to it, and there's some audio things that I need to fix a little bit, but everything is looking good so far. So eventually that will be up, and then me and Greg will actually do a reaction video to that video. So it'll be very fun.
So good. Can't wait.
Yeah, so it's coming, you guys. It's coming. But once again, this is your only place to get your Disney fix.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.
Peace.